Today we begin a new week and a new theme of how God gladdens our soul. And we're starting with one of the best known Psalms, Psalm 100, which says, "Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name, for the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations." You know, it's interesting to me that people seem to have different approaches to worship, and we see that both in the Bible, in the book of Psalms, and we see it in our own time today. Sometimes people approach worship. Think of the prophet Habakkuk and the verse that the Lord is in his holy temple, let all the earth keep silence before him. And we know that roughly a third of the Psalms are Psalms of lament, crying out to God, complaining, asking for God with help with suffering, the prosperity of the wicked, against violence, hostility, and enemies, both personal or national. So we know, and we're living in times where there's a lot to lament about. However, all that being said, there are also a significant number of Psalms that talk about the importance of us worshiping the Lord with gladness and with thanksgiving and with gratitude and the joy that comes from being in God's presence and with God's people in worship. And so I just share that with you as a way of encouraging you to try each day, even when you're going through a tough season or a difficult period, to always look for reasons to be grateful, for reasons to be glad in the Lord. When I was a little boy growing up, one of the Disney movies that our family watched was Pollyanna. And some of you may remember that movie if you're my age or a little older or a little younger. And Carl Malden plays the clergyman in that movie. And man, he is so negative. He is so harsh. I can't imagine sitting in his congregation week after week. And it's actually through the influence of a young girl, Pollyanna, that he spends a great deal of time rereading and relooking at his Bible for all the gladness and happy verses and passages. I pray that God will gladden your soul today, and that when you come to worship, whether in person or whether you're preparing yourself to participate in worship watching online, that you would be very intentional about coming into God's presence and worship with gladness.